Well, they got Violet or Elaine off, and she off for work, and she was just as happy as she was on Friday night, and looking just as pretty. She wore the same thing, and off she went. Now, Violet and Lance, they had 4 hours, 5 hours to spend. What would they do? Well, they were going to have supper, but they started with some exercising. You know, Lance got on his or the exercise bike and did that a while, and then Violet decided they should try stairs. It was time. Tonight there was a free bedroom upstairs, and tonight she thought he could probably safely go up and then come down. She had rails there. She was an occupational therapist after all. And so he did that a little timidly at first, but he made it and turned around and came back down. And then she said, well, let's try going down to the basement. How'd you like to see where I brew my ale and bake my bread? And, I said, well, sure. So off the kitchen there was a stair. Now this was a little steeper but shorter, and it only had a rail on the one side, so they were kind of careful with that. But they went down, and they got down there, and Violet joked, I hope you've never read Edgar Allan Poe's A Cask of Amontillado. And, of course, Lance, he said, no, I don't think so. I've heard of Edgar Allan Poe, of course. He said, well, that was wine. You don't need to worry. So they didn't stay there long. She didn't actually brew, but she could have. All there was about maybe 7 or 8 gallon clear jars with lids, and they were all full of ale with the Krausen on top and Trub on the bottom, and then it was really clean. It was really nice. She'd saved enameled steel from tops, for years, and she'd done the whole thing in white enamel steel. But anyway, they went back upstairs. They had supper, and they then were in the living room, and they still had about 3 hours, and they thought, well, want to take a chance on another Shakespearean film. And before Lance could answer that, all of a sudden, Elaine came charging in the door, and her eyes, she was glaring, and she marched in. She was still wearing her apron, just as if she'd come straight from work, which she had, and she took her purse and threw it on the couch and sat down in a chair and just sat there and glared.